So tell me why we're doing this.
We're doing it mostly because you don't want to. So yeah, we've been talking about starting it for that long now that I didn't think it were ever going to happen. It almost didn't happen today.
Yeah.
You didn't come with this intention, but
no.
Here we are. So yeah, we just wanted to be able to have a platform or use our platform to talk about what we're doing, which helps hold ourselves account and stick to what we say. But also for like the community that we're starting to develop to like get to know us a little bit more, because it is a community area that we're within. So you know, if we can give back and let people get to know us, they're supporting us along the way anyway. Maybe they'll support us more if they get to know us. Maybe they'll just fuck us off completely. But
I think it depends what you say.
Yeah, it does. And I think that's probably why this isn't live and it's recorded. I think, because everyone says when you do a podcast, it should be live. People want live, real stuff. But
until they meet Steve Beckett.
Yeah, we just don't want to get cancelled just yet. So we're going to like, get used to doing it before we take the plunge and go live. So I think that makes the most sense, doesn't it?
So I need to get comfortable with going live is what you're saying?
Yeah, but you're comfortable in so much as you're not going to say something stupid. You just don't want to say anything at all.
Well, yeah.
So
that's
safe. Whereas I want to talk all the time and I'm likely to say something stupid. It's a bit of, it's a bad combo, I think.
Very, very. So, oh dear, this is terrible. I hate a camera. I absolutely hate a camera.
Well, pretend it's not there. You know that massive light that's on there, just completely ignore it. Well, you spent the last 3 days like filming and doing stuff anyway.
Yes, but I'm better on the other side. I'm not better this side.
Well, there isn't room for you over there behind that camera.
Well, no, and hopefully I'll get better. But if I don't, are we going to start having guests so that I can come off?
Yeah,
and you can get decent people on.
I think so. Yeah, I think like ideally we're going to start doing that. Maybe that'll look slightly different. Obviously, we can do these together. If there's people that we want to speak to that are local, we can do that. But we might invest in some software to start interviewing people. I say interviewing, it's just more conversational than interview. But yeah, I think within the space, we have got a unique opportunity to be able to give back. So if there's people that we know from the space that people would be interested in hearing from, then I think it'd be good for us to put them under the spotlight.
Nice. Okay, so let's talk about Defiant history. What happened? Where did it start? All the way up to present day until I came along and ruined it.
In a very condensed way, because we don't want to be sat chatting shit for next.
Well, I'll try and keep you on track because these people have got places to be.
So yeah, how do you know? Probably no one's fucking watching it anyway.
That's fine.
What did Chris Williams say on his podcast that some of his podcasts, he's like one of the biggest top 50 in the world now.
Yeah.
And he said he looked back and some had no players. Not even his friends.
One of them.
Not even his mum had watched it. So,
I'm going to make my mum watch this.
Yeah, I think we've got
one support. We've got one view.
So Defiant, I, as it was then with my dad, so it was we, just not this week. I launched the Defiant Co the idea was formed in 2018. We went live in 2019. And it was really just to keep me off the streets, I think. I needed something to focus my time in. I had spare time. I wanted to focus my energy in something positive. I recently joined a new gym called The Project, which is now CrossFit affiliated. And I noticed that there was an opportunity, and my vision then, although I didn't know it was going to become the business that it's becoming, I thought there was a bit of a gap because every time I went to like comps or anything and bought teas or anything, they always just felt shit. And I just thought that people were trying to sell one tea to everybody. But if you created something a little bit better, maybe you could sell multiple teas to everybody. So that's why we joined it. And we always the first tagline we ever developed was high quality apparel for the gym and beyond. And we've tried to just keep that mantra moving forward. So then it's sort of progressed and snowballed. We survived COVID. Never invested anything more than the initial investment, which wasn't great because we used my mum and dad's house as a stock room. And then it started to gather legs. My dad was getting a little bit older, still more than capable, but just like we're getting to that point in his life where he wanted to enjoy retirement. And then at that point, I'd started working with you from a marketing point of view. You were doing like marketing consultancy for me and business consultancy. And that like coincided with the time my dad decided he wanted to retire. So then I guess that nicely comes into you and why you're here now, because you took the opportunity to buy in as my dad was bowing out, and here we are making you do stuff you don't want to do.
It's literally the most uncomfortable. I'm all about behind a camera or behind a computer, but just not in front of the camera.
Yeah, we went pretty quick on that because I'm like a lot of people will know how the Defiant's progressed over the years, but they won't know absolutely anything about you. So do you want to give? Even though I know you love it, do you want to give a
very, very, very brief
intro to you and what you've done in the past?
Oh, the whole lot?
Well, I don't really care about where you went to school and all that shit.
Oh, that's the interesting bit.
You know, like the business stuff that's actually useful to me, because anything else I'm not interested in.
Fine. So I've owned a gym with my husband for just over 10 years. And then always done business consultancy on the side, mainly through friends and people that I'd met through the gym that wanted a bit of help with sales and marketing, mainly through operational performance and making things slightly slicker. I've always been a massive believer in systems and making things easier. Hugely put that into my business at the gym. And then over time, I actually in lockdown got pregnant with my little boy Oscar. Decided at that point to lean a bit more into the sales and marketing side of it because I realised I was enjoying that way more. Qualified as a business coach with the Entrepreneur Circle while I was pregnant, which was fun. So as I was fully qualified through there, met some people through that, explained to the people that I'd worked with before what I'd just done and got recommendations through them. Obviously met you through my best friend in the gym, and you realised what we were doing. We started to have a couple of conversations, didn't we? Yeah. And you decided to take me on to boss you around a little bit, which for someone who doesn't like being bossed around.
I know, it was bizarre. It was a bit, I'd say it was a learning curve, but it felt quite natural. Like before you joined, I was paying you to get told what to do. It was a really weird sort of, but as the numbers started going up, I was like, okay. Because at the start we joked, didn't we? You thought I'd be much more like sort of negative, not negative, but like sort of challenging.
Yeah, very stuck in your ways was what I thought.
Yeah, and I just need real life examples. You show me something good that works, and I don't care if I like it or not, we're doing it.
Yeah.
And from day one, everything you implemented, like turn the needle and the lines went up, so it was just a no-brainer then. So then everything was met with less and less resistance to the point where now
it's definitely got easier.
I just ask them, say, what should we do here? What should we do there? And I'm learning myself along the way as well, because for me, I've always worked in the corporate world. And I fell into this almost because I developed the brand through hard work as opposed to maybe business strategy. So now putting that business strategy that you bring and my, I guess, loose experience in business strategy working for a corporate, because we all know that world's just utter nonsense. But with the hard work as well, it's, and what I'm learning, and I've enjoyed the Entrepreneur Circle myself, thanks to you. It's just been good.
On that, for people that don't know what you do in the corporate world and how that translates over to Defiant, do you want to
Probably not. That? I don't think it's worth me talking.
It's very, very customer orientated, and you're a massive believer.
I just would never say where I worked. And
not where, but what you do and why that translates over.
Like, my job is basically managing services and how they impact customers. So I have a passion for like delivering good customer service. Like I always have. Which is bizarre because some people wouldn't see me as the most service oriented in my opinions, but I know what should be done right. So if you're going to deliver a service, deliver it correctly. Yeah. You know, you might not like it, whatever, but you've committed to doing something, just go and do it. And that's me and everything in life, I think.
Absolutely. I think we talk about it at least once a day.
Yeah, service, because there's some certain systems we use that are supposed to enhance my life, and I just think... And I accept that stuff goes wrong, shit goes wrong. My problem, which is my, like I say, day job, is if stuff goes wrong, how do we make it as seamless to the end customer or to whoever as possible? Because, you know, we're all human beings, we accept that shit goes wrong.
Yeah.
How you act on that is what's important. And if you set yourself up for success, then you'll always win off the back of that.
I think that's why we've ended up working quite well together, though, because you've always done it from a customer facing or customer end user point of view, and I've always tried to make it more streamlined and better from a systems point of view with regards to operationally.
Yeah.
So between the two, we make sure that there's no holes missing. So I think
and that sometimes does drive us to clash a little, doesn't it?
Oh, definitely.
But in a really positive way, because we're both arguing the same point from a different point of view.
Yeah.
And then we always find that ground. Like some of the best customer reviews we've got on Google at the moment are from customers that maybe got a bad service, we just maybe got an incorrect item, or, you know, something wasn't quite right with the product, and they've left positive reviews. So that shows that our passion for delivering that service is good, because you know, you have a bad experience and end up leaving a positive review.
Yeah.
What more could you ask for, really?
Definitely. So moving forward then, What does it look like?
So moving forward, it looks like more and more events in person, but as something that I want to do or we want to do as opposed to what we have to do. So that means strategizing to get better online, reach more people, constantly, talk to our customer base and the community and see what they want, keep our, our finger on the pulse with the latest trends and fashions and see if we can get ahead of those. And just, so we're still going to see us at events, but, that's going to be more through choice than sort of, because that's where we want to drive the most of our revenue. Ideally, we want to get to a point of the business. I guess it'd be like 80% online, 20% in. And, at the moment, we're probably more like, 35% online and 65% in person, which is much better than it were before we started working together. But it's still a journey we want to go on and we're going to go on. So there's also plans that we've talked about. I say talked about, we've solidified them really. We're just looking at the timings to sort of split the brand out a bit. So obviously people will have seen the DFNT element of the brand and the Defiant Co. The Defiant Co continue to be the performance wear, so your everyday gym wear that's our core. And then DFNT sort of separating out into like more premium active wear. And how that looks, we're still working on, but we're starting to develop those products now. The Eternity Oversized Hoodie was our first DFNT launch. That went down a storm. Literally sold like over 400 of them since they've not even launched a year. I think it's even closer to 500 now. So that showed us that there is a market for that if you create the right product. So if you're going to go down the premium route, everything about that product has to be premium.
Everything.
And that is the challenge at the moment, because we are like, everything we develop, we want it to be premium, whether it's DFNT or the Defiant Co. But the price point reflects the quality, doesn't it? So if you're going to charge more for X, you've got to make sure that is, there's an obvious difference between the quality, I guess.
Well, the way that we're going into it, we're noticing how difficult it is to get it that right, isn't it? So we're putting in the groundwork to make sure that every single thing. Just
the sampling alone. So the amount we've spent on samples in the last 6 months is crazy, considering I think only one of those products so far has gone to market. No one sees that. And it's good to be able to have this forum to maybe let people know how that looks, because you can't just develop a product and sell it. When we launched the shorts, which was before your time, I had like 5 or 6 pairs of shorts. I'll just change this a little bit, comes back, change this a little bit. And it's a nightmare because you have to pay top dollar for all those. But now, because we're trying to expand the product range into a range of products, different leggings, different bras, and then within the leggings and bras, different little intricacies around them. It's it's challenging, but it's really rewarding at the same time. So when samples come, we get really excited. And I'm like, shit, that could have been a bit. You don't know what you don't know, and then
you weren't very good at testing out sports bras before, right? Were you really?
No, like I used to be back in the day a bit better, but I don't fill them out quite so much now. But yeah,
that's definitely helped.
And it is difficult, when as a guy and me and my dad, they sent me a sports bra for it, and I'm like, oh, that's bang on that. Like, you have no idea, do you? So like, yeah, thanks for your.
You're very welcome.
Really helped
I'm glad I can contribute as a woman.
But yeah, and I guess when we talk about our plans, we're going to do this every time. We're going to say what we're up to, what we've been up to, and people.
But we'll be very open and honest, I think.
Yeah, and I think there's like some people that aren't like that. I think people think that they have to keep everything they're doing to themselves. And like in this space, especially this space, I feel like everyone, if we do better, all the brands do better. If the Defiant Games does better, all the comps do better. And people need to come out of that single me versus the world mentality, especially in this area. Like at the end of the day, if someone wants to buy our stuff, they'll buy it. If they want to buy from a competitor, they'll buy that. So like, don't be rude to other people at events, don't be like, just like, I don't know. And I think the support that we can give each other, like it makes everyone better. And I love it. Like we've got such good relationships with people like Hybrid and Rebel. And I love being at events with them. Like we have a chat, we see what's working. Like don't need to be, they're not competitors at the end of the day.
The market's big enough.
Yeah.
And you've all got a slightly different edge. So I completely agree.
And I think that the only people that look at those brands in their space as competitors in a negative way are never going to be successful, because don't worry about what anyone else is doing. If you do the best you can do and deliver the best service or product, people will buy yours regardless of what anyone else is doing. So if you're too fixated on what someone else is doing, you're doing fuck all, and then
you go nowhere.
Yeah. And that us versus the world mentality will be true, because you will be on your own and you'll have nothing to do.
Definitely. Well, should we tell them about how we do that with our 60 minutes?
Yeah. So 60 minutes, but we're like working up to 90, aren't we?
We are.
We're having about 50 jobs. It's difficult. So we touched on it earlier about the Entrepreneur Circle, and one of the founder of that, who's developed like over double-digit million pound businesses. So like what, 14 is it? Crazy. And what he does every single working day, he has 90 minutes to work on his businesses, not in his businesses. And that means phone off, not sending emails, not what they call weeds, the day-to-day running. It's spending 90 minutes completely on moving your business forward. And that can be strategizing, it can be copywriting, it can be anything along those lines that's going to just move you forward. So what we've started doing, haven't we, when we've been working together, every time we work together, whatever that looks like, we have a 60-minute session where we'll pick one topic and then we'll go to work on that for that 60 minutes and see what we can solution. And it is crazy how much of a positive impact that's had on us, isn't it? It's like, you think you don't have time to do it, so you don't do it. But what you don't realize is by doing it, you actually create more time, because you're being more strategic, you're being more, you're planning more effectively.
It's easy when you know where it goes. And now one thing that I think works well for us as well is having a framework, isn't it? About the 3 to 5 elements, or however many elements you've got to make your business good. As long as you've got that framework, whether it be product development, customer service, operations, whatever it is. And if you cover that week in, week out, even if it's something you think, well, we've nailed it, you've never nailed it in business if you want to grow. So every time you revisit it, you go, right, well, even if it's a small tweak, then you make it slightly better. You look at the market's forever changing, technology's forever changing. So why would you not look what is better? Rather than being on the back foot, be on the front foot and lead from the front by thinking about it before it's a problem, or before your competitors or people alongside you overtake you. Don't become too insular to think that you've nailed it, because you can never nail business in my eyes.
Absolutely not. And I think the prime example of that is our website. So we redid the entire website probably 2 or 3 months ago. Mm-hmm. We're buzzing with it. The feel and look of it is way better than it was. But then one of our 60-minute sessions last week was to shop our own website. So we went through it and made another list like this of things we wanted to change. And it's crazy to think that. So that is just a prime example of what you've just said. Like, always try and be better. Shop your own website. If you've got a business, go on your website and see what the customer experience is like, because you can get too bogged down in it. We thought it were great because we changed it all. And literally, like I said, back to IT guy, he's like, fuck's sake. But he needs to get used to that, because, well, end of the day, we keep him busy, don't we?
Oh, definitely.
But yeah, and that's just a good example of that.
Yeah, definitely.
So, and if you can't do 60, start with 30. And when you start with 30, which is what I did, and I do them regardless, we do them together if we're together, but if not, I'll do one every day, like now. And I just struggled to start, but the best way to do anything is to start. You always think you can't until you do. And like, I started with 30, and some days I will do 90, but I'm only committed to 60 because I'm still getting there, but I know there is value to it. So.
There's been huge value.
Massive.
So as you briefly mentioned, I am a busy person with a 3-year-old, so I don't digest external news very well or very often. So you are my daily news download. So what is happening in CrossFit that I don't know?
We'll do CrossFit news.
Let's do CrossFit news first, unless you want to touch on anything.
No, because the rest of the news makes me want to kill myself.
Okay. Well, we'll save that for a later podcast, shall we?
BBC News is on for like 2 minutes, and I'm like, right, I want to fight everybody. But
let's ease them in.
CrossFit news. To be fair, though, CrossFit news recently hasn't been much more uplifting. Like, the community's never been more divided, as we know.
What's happened?
Sad incident at the games with Lazar, and then how people acted off the back of it. It's like we live in a world today where everybody wants someone to blame. So it's like something sad happened, and then everyone wanted to, I don't know, maybe get that emotion and guilt out. Not so much guilt, but emotion out and channel it somewhere. And CrossFit were the people that it was channeled at. And there's arguments for and against, and that's not, our opinion's irrelevant, really. It is what it is. But I think recently Luca made a post, which was Lazar's brother, basically saying that some of the stuff that had come out in the wash was untrue, and I think he just wanted to set the scene straight, because some of the stuff that Dave Castro had said was said in a conversation with Luca in order to move the games forward and not be cancelled. Luca has since now come out and said that isn't what was said. So that has been a bit of A bit shit really, because I think a lot of people believed in Dave, and he always seems like someone that's got a lot of honesty and integrity. And I'm not going to question his honesty or integrity on a whole, because I hate when people do that. You know, someone makes a mistake and then people attack him. They want, you know, and that happens with celebrities and important people. It also happens in everyday life. Like, we live in this cancel culture now, which is just so negative for society, and it's just the wrong way. If someone says something you don't like, you shouldn't like automatically just want them to be cancelled or deplatformed. But we digress. You know, I'm passionate about that. So back to the Dave thing. So basically, he said that the CrossFit Games had the blessing of Laz's family to continue.
Right.
It transpires that Luca, Laz's brother, never gave that blessing. He never said those words.
Oh.
So that is obviously a problem for CrossFit. But then I think Dave has come out and apologised for saying that. And that's where I struggled a little bit, because I think if you were sorry for doing something, you would do it before you got exposed, you know. So if I'm seeing someone and I cheat on them and they find out and confront me, and then I say I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. I'm sorry I got caught. You know what I mean? Sorry is going to him and saying, I feel real guilty about this. I need to tell you something. And then you're still absolving yourself from guilt. So you could say there's no wrong way or right way to do anything. But I feel like that's what Dave's done a bit. Reactionary apologies with excuses don't seem like genuine apologies. But I still hold Dave in high regard. You know, he's obviously made a massive fuck up with how he handled that part of the situation. The rest of it, we don't know. There's been no investigation yet. It's nothing to do with us. But in that instance, obviously, you know, none of us have been there. He's got the weight of sponsors, the rest of the athletes, spectators. He obviously did what he thought was right. None of it has been done maliciously, as some people like to say, but that does strike me as a massive glaring error that has now further polarised the community, because everyone that supports Dave's doubled down and maybe made some of the points I've made. Everyone that supports the family, you shouldn't have to make a choice. What happened was terrible. Luca must be going through the most unimaginable pain ever. And like, it doesn't need to be anything more than that. CrossFit needs to be held accountable if they were, you know, if they're found to be responsible. Dave's apologised for what he got wrong, which, you know, does, regardless of whether you think they probably should have come sooner or later, it does take balls to do that. So yeah, that's the news at the moment. It seems to continually go on that loop around that, which it should to a point, because something tragic happened to an amazing bloke, you know, fittest in Europe 3 years in a row. But no one's really concentrating on that. It's all about who can we blame the most, who's at fault, who can we get cancelled, who can we fire, why can't it just be about, like, you know, learning things, making it better, and then all moving forward together, because that's the only way out of any tragedy, so everyone comes together and goes in the same direction.
Which CrossFit is renowned for, being a community.
Exactly. It's supposed to be a community. And now it's just the same as the rest of the world. Everyone's picking a side and fighting each other. And it's just crazy. But yeah, we'll come through it. And, you know, there is no wrong or right way. There's just the way.
Yeah.
And that's it.
There's no good, there's no bad. It's just
that's it.
Maybe for another day.
Yeah.
So if people want to know more about your take on, or in fact, should we tell them more about the pyramid?
Content? So the CrossFit pyramid.
Let's touch on that.
Everyone should know about the CrossFit pyramid. We didn't even rehearse this bit, so I don't even know what's in it. So it's a pyramid.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
So at the top or the bottom?
The base of it is nutrition.
Yep.
Next is metabolic conditioning. Next is gymnastics. Next is weightlifting, and then the top layer is sport. And basically, I am doing an email every Wednesday with an element from the pyramid direct to your mailbox. I'll take on each section, and it's done in a light-hearted, entertaining way, which is how we're trying to write our emails at the moment.
With useful information.
Yeah, yeah. We want to provide content for you to enjoy, as opposed to just trying to sell you shit. Obviously, we want to sell you shit, but we want to do something extra as well. Yeah. And like, to a point, like when we first started sending emails, I was a bit reluctant. I didn't used to like it, because I don't like receiving sales emails myself. Never been a fan of it. If I want to buy something, I'll buy it. If I don't, leave me alone. But then I started getting emails from different brands with just information that was interesting. I'm like, so I'll open that email. And then, yeah. So we've gone down that route. But again, I was writing emails in a manner of which I thought people wanted to read. And I wasn't not enjoying it, but I just didn't feel like, and then when we sat down, you were like, just be yourself, not too much, but be yourself. And
within reason.
And since then, I've been really enjoying writing the emails. The feedback we've got has been great. So So yeah, so now make sure you're on our mail list. Every Friday, we're going to send a bit of a fun email. Sometimes it'll be memes, maybe a few quizzes, that kind of stuff. On a Wednesday, we're sending you a nugget from the pyramid. We're just going to keep going through the steps and regurgitating that because there's so much you can do with all those steps. And then there'll be some other emails along the way. We'll obviously send one out about this. We're going to send one out probably on a Sunday around products and things like that.
Well, that just means that they can keep an eye on anything that we're launching, sneak peeks.
Yeah.
Any discount that we get, etc., etc. So worth being on it, definitely.
Yeah, especially with all the new stuff. Yeah, we'll put a link in. What is it? We say link in bio or link in comments, or we don't even know where we're putting this.
Don't ask me.
Where we're going to put this? Anyway, the YouTube. Spotify.
Yeah.
Do you think people will watch us or just listen, or do you think there's no fucker will be interested?
I think it's going to have 0 plays.
No, but you said your mum will watch. My mum will watch a bit. She'll probably watch it in 3 in the morning or something. She'll have a late night scroll. Then we've got a few friends between us, haven't we? Some mutual friends. I reckon we've got a chance with them. Someone's at fucking door. We didn't pack this in. Right, wrap it up because we are done, aren't we?
No, that is. I think we've wrapped it.
Yeah,
that's really good.
Because this might be as clothes bags to pack all that stuff.
I hope so. Because it looks
so.
Like
yeah, so I think we didn't do bad for our first one.
Brilliant.
Right, nice one.